People are still joining. That's great. So, how we have started structuring our partner marketing monthly calls is we're bringing on a super amazing, smart, fabulous, wonderful, brilliant guest where they talk for 20 minutes about a topic. Um, Basically, we're probably going to talk about, I think we talked about Black Hat, Amanda,
Mhm.
and like Black Hat partnerships. And did you attend Black Hat?
I did.
Yes.
Yes.
And your thoughts on like partnership stuff there. I think that will be really cool. And
Yeah.
then we'll just open it to the floor. We can have like a cool discussion about other people's thoughts. You could ask Amanda questions. And that's basically how this rodeo runs at the Cybersecurity Marketing Society. So let's get started. And for everyone, this is being recorded. But if you want to not be recorded, just let me know. I could pause the recording at any point in time and also edit out anything. Okay, Amanda, tell us about yourself. Who are you?
So my name is Amanda McLaughlin, and I run marketing for the Mid-Atlantic team for GuidePoint Security. I've been there now for almost 6 years, which seems crazy every year. It just gets busier and busier. And I have two little kids. I actually work out of their playroom. So if you guys see any toys in the background, that's typically why they're not home today. So it's nice and quiet. um, and yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. What do you one actually I want before we get into like what you do, why are you this sounds very accusatory, but you've been at Guidepoint for 6 years, which is quite a long tenure when a lot of us kind of stay at companies for 2, 3 years and then move on. Is there a specific reason? Is there something really nice about Guidepoint that you love? Maybe some folks here will be inspired to not leave their companies and join Guidepoint, but it's good.
Yeah. So, I mean, Guide Point's culture alone has really just kind of kept me there. Everybody feels like family. I know that's really corny to say, and probably a lot of people hear that, but we have a company-wide policy that's, no jerks. So we typically take pride in treating everybody, with respect. There's a lot of equal opportunity there. I came in as the only kind of marketing coordinator for the position, and then I was able to kind of build up the region with marketing. And now I have a team of about 5 people that report into me. So it's really just a company of growth and making sure that you are being taken to the next level. They never really put anybody in a box. And I love that about GuidePoint. And you could work with one team one day, and then you're working with, our IA team the next day. And it's crazy and it's great. And it's always challenging.
That's awesome. That's fun. Quick reminder to everybody, this is a meeting. This is like a Zoom meeting. So if you do have like a question or want to ask something or get clarity or chime in, feel free to just like either use raise hand on Zoom. I think you could do that. No, you can't on this. Okay, feel free to post in the chat or just unmute and say like, excuse me, I can I add something here? Okay, so Amanda, tell us what you do at GuidePoint specifically.
So I oversee all of the marketing efforts within the Mid-Atlantic team. And then I oversee our marketing coordinators that handle each metro within the Mid-Atlantic team as well, help with, any type of campaigns, lead generation. We have a BDR team, so I work with our sales directors pretty closely. And then I also am currently managing the Northwest team marketing efforts. So for anybody on the call that might be hiring in the Northwest or looking for a job in the Northwest, we are hiring for a marketing coordinator. I currently sit in Philadelphia, so it's definitely difficult to get across the country a lot of the times. But yeah, I mean, pretty much at GuidePoint, you wear a lot of hats, and that's what's so great about it too. And I feel like that's kind of what I do in my role. A lot of it is events. We execute, as a reseller, we execute about 120 events a year on average. That averages about 3 events a week. And we tend to get about 20 plus attendees, to all of those events, depending on the event capacity and the size. But a lot of our account executives, depend on events just for continue to build relationships, and a lot of networking and engagement.
Awesome. What in terms of what you do at your role, how much of your work is focused on creating pipeline and opportunities with end users versus working with channel partners? Or maybe that's the wrong way to phrase that question, but how much of your work is working with channel partners and how much of it is focused on more like the end user?
Yeah. So it's definitely 50-50, right? Because as a reseller, it's different. It's a mixed bag for sure. So, the end users, I mean, a lot of it is just bringing on our account executives that are, I think, seasoned in the industry is really, really important. Making sure that they have those relationships, but also that we're working with channel account managers on the partner side that can bring us leads and, vice versa. So we don't always want to we pride ourselves on filling these events and, making sure that we're getting really great names to a lot of these events. But at the same time, we depend on our channel partners to kind of do that for us, vice versa, and make sure that they're showing interest in our team and they're putting the effort in and that they're bringing opportunities and leads as well. So a lot of my time is working with channel partners and making sure that we are following a path together. So we always try to emphasize, we are better together. We're an extension of your sales team. You're an extension of ours. So that's kind of our goal at the end of the day. And then, the end user part of it, I think we're all constantly trying to get out there and get, new names all the time, new logos, a lot of social media emphasis trying to do that as well. So it's definitely a mixed bag on the VAR side for sure.
I know you guys do a lot of events. You just said 120 in the year. Is that like your favorite? What's your favorite channel? Can I ask you? Is it weird to be like, my favorite channel is X?
It's hard. It's really hard. I mean, my favorite, there's so many. Some of my, most memorable, I think would be, I love Black Hat. I love going there, and, GuidePoint has a very big presence. I think this year was like our biggest presence we've ever had, at the conference. And that's always been just a lot of fun. And it's always great to kind of meet new people. And we do a huge corporate happy hour there. But then we also did a smaller happy hour for just our Mid-Atlantic and kind of regional side of the house. And I was in charge of that one. And it was great. I mean, it's just so fun. Did you go to Black Hat this year?
Yes, I was at Black Hat. Who here was at Black Hat? Can we do raised hands or put in the chat? Okay, a couple people. I know Veronis was there. Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's actually dive deeper into that, because the point of this, or the topic for this discussion, is your reflections on Black Hat from a VAR perspective. Yeah. So hoping to hear more about what you did, what you saw that worked, what you tried or saw that you thought didn't work, and like what you think is best practices for working with partners at these large events, and just basically have a discussion about that. So first and foremost, you started to say that that GuidePoint did, which, by the way, Aaron Bowen says your party is always awesome. And you got a couple of thumbs up for that. You had your big party, and then you had smaller parties. What other activities did you do at Black Hat? What was the most successful?
So we do a lot of one-off events when we're there too, right? Like we start, like, part of building that relationship with a lot of our channel partners and having them at a conference like Black Hat. I mean, it's great. And it's probably great for all of our channel partners too. You have all of the people that you work with within the industry and all of your customers all in one place. And so it's so accessible. It's so easy to kind of just grab somebody and be like, oh, let's go to a dinner. Let's go to a club. Like, let's go grab drinks. Everybody is just having a great time all the time. So that's definitely one of the highlights of Black Hat. I think one of the most successful for us was our large corporate event. We had, I think, over 1,200 people attend, which was really, really great for us. And it was our highest attended, highest registered event that we've hosted at Black Hat. So it was great. It was really, really awesome. So we had a great time getting are those reactions? Oh, nice.
Yeah, sorry. I guess there are reactions in here.
I was like, wait, I've never seen that before. That's fun. But yeah, I would say that was amazing. That was definitely one of our highlights of being out there as GuidePoint, and getting all of this kind of positive energy. I think that one of the things that partners can do is, and if you haven't already started doing yet, and if you want to pass it over to your channel account managers, but the best way to get in front of GuidePoint or even, any type of reseller, in our opinion, would just be reach out to their vendor relationship management team. We, in my opinion, have the best VRM team. They are magic. I don't know how they pull off some of the things that they do, but Mark Thornberry, he's the VP of VRM at GuidePoint, and he is just incredible. And he coordinates a lot of the meetings. Same with Tristan Tarpinian and Justin Iwanizin, Parker Leonard's over there. They are just literally amazing. Every day at Black Hat, they had 10 or 12 meetings just back to back to back, starting at 7 a.m. with a lot of our technology partners that were interested in just meeting us and making sure that they were putting faces to names. So to everybody who met, with the GuidePoint security team, thank you. And I know those meetings probably could not have been easy, but we're just so happy that our technology partners have such a positive, outlook on GuidePoint. We feel very lucky. So hopefully the feeling's mutual, but.
That is awesome. Reminder to everybody, do you have questions? Do you have concerns? Do you have questions or comments? Feel free to put them in the chat. Feel free to unmute your mic and ask a question. We have Amanda McLaughlin here, who is one of the best bar marketers in the world and at your disposal for the next X amount of minutes. So make sure
I'm going to use that title now. I'm going to change that. I'm going to say that you approved it, and
we'll give you a certificate and everything if you want.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. I would love that. My bosses would love that too.
Okay, so you guys, at Black Hat GuidePoint had lots of meetings. Your vendor management team went out and met with the vendors that you guys work with, your channel partners, your technology vendors that you guys work with. What else maybe that you saw? Maybe not with GuidePoint, but even on the conference floor. Did you walk the expo hall, I'm assuming?
I walked it, yes, for a little bit. I think a lot of what I saw on the conference floor, and I know maybe this isn't, applicable to everybody that's on the call, but the expositions that I think vendors were putting out this year, our technology partners, some of the eye-catching moments, I think at their booths really make an impact, and people posting on social media constantly. That was really cool. Everybody kind of came with a different type of, I want to say, I hate to say it again, but an eye-catching booth piece. And it was really cool to see. Everybody just got super into it. It seemed really different. And that from a VAR side, that was really cool to kind of see all of our technology partners out there at once and everybody interacting too.
What were some of your favorite partner activations and in the expo hall that you saw? Some of GuidePoint's partners, what were some things that you thought that you loved? There was a lot of great stuff. Anyone in particular you want to name? Maybe you can't. I don't know. Maybe
I don't know if I can.
Can I name my favorite baby?
I know. It's hard. It's hard because there was so many. Did you guys see the Tom Cruise impersonator?
Yes. At Pickus, right?
I think so. Pickus. Yeah. Somebody just confirmed. Yes. Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. I didn't get to see that, but I saw that posted on social media a lot. And I was like, wow, that's different. Who knew that was going to get so much traction, So that was interesting. I thought people just kind of thought out of the box. SentinelOne's booth was kind of crazy. I don't know if it gave me a Stranger Things vibe, but I liked it. It was cool. And I think just drawing people in, I think they just drew people more and more in. I think as more of these conferences, I think we're going to see are going to get more elaborate. And I think that's great. I think that's something that we need because after, the COVID kind of era, I think people are more used to just sitting at home and what's really going to get them out from behind their computers. You know what I mean? So I really think that Black Hat did a great thing this year by having a lot of these experiences and a lot of people doing different things, especially in the expo hall. And social media was so great, I think, for Black Hat this year. And I think everybody now is oh, we can't miss it. We have to go back next year. We have to go, to other tech conferences. So I think as a whole, as an industry, everybody came out winning.
What do you think doesn't hit or doesn't work when working with partners at events? Is there any sort of we don't take this strategy or this tactic because usually it doesn't work?
Yeah. You know what doesn't work? And a lot of people don't think about this, but people, right? I think not having the right people at booths will deter people away. And it's so simple, but a lot of times we're having calls with our channel account managers, and we try to prep them on materials to bring. And if we're doing any type of shared booth spaces, at least in the metro, they're not as big conferences as Black Hat. So there's not a ton you can do, but I think not having the right people there and not having an incentive for somebody to come over to your booth is huge. And it could be a raffle, it could be a giveaway of your service, it could be anything of that nature. But I personally think that having a technical person there that can do a deep dive, that can provide this customer or prospect with some type of comfort, and also understanding their pain points, and not their pain points of today, but their pain points of the future. That is where I think a lot of people go wrong, especially at conferences and trade shows. I think a lot of people will send folks that maybe aren't as well spoken, in the field or in the service or product. So that's always kind of the number one recommendation, is that, people want to work with people, and people want to work with people that understand them. So why not put those people in the field,
Amazing. We have a couple new people who joined kind of midway through. Just a reminder, do you have questions? Do you have comments? Do you want to tell Amanda how great she is? Please put it in. Please put it in the comments, or unmute and say something. Hi, Katie. I see you are on. Katie's not going to unmute.
I am. I'm multitasking, but I'm so
Okay.
excited.
I know, because you said you couldn't attend, and I was like, "Are you sure?" And of course, you're here.
I am here, and
Yeah.
I'm like waiting for these other clients, but I couldn't miss it. I can't wait to hear your perspective. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
No.
So we have covered so far, like, Amanda and GuidePoint's activities at Black Hat, what was successful, what doesn't work at big events, what other topics do people have that they want to bring up. I know you have you have questions. If not, I'm going to keep rolling, but I don't want it to be just me talking. Okay.
I got a question.
Okay.
Do you have any tips or tricks for the vendors that are on the line when it comes to working with partners like you? What do you like to see?
So we touched on this a little bit, but the most we like to see is proactiveness, right? So we have over 300, technology partners that we have signed with us today that we work with on a regular basis. We work with about 250 of those just in the Mid-Atlantic region. So being proactive and reaching out to us on a, maybe not a regular basis, doesn't have to be weekly, maybe just set a check-in, to check in with your VAR monthly. It goes a long way. It really does, because it goes to the top of my inbox, the top of my mind. And I'm like, oh, I got to send them this. This would be a great opportunity for them. Let's get them in. But I also think making sure that they're building that relationship with the account executives is huge. Getting time in front of our team is so limited because everybody is so crazy busy. But really just kind of making sure that you're making the constant effort. Even if we say no 10 times, we will, eventually say yes. It's just getting the schedule right. And that's really what makes GuidePoint, I think, different in a lot of ways too, is that we're so willing to work with a lot of our technology partners. It just has to be the right timing. And I think that's something that our technology partners, everybody has a number to meet. Everybody has a deadline to meet. And so they'll get very frantic, and they'll be like, oh, I got denied again. Like, can you help me out? And I'm like, actually, maybe in the spring. I think the spring would work well. And we're planning that far ahead. I mean, right now we're almost done 2024 planning. So we are just constant. I know it's constant.
2024 planning, almost done. Oh my gosh. How far out do you plan?
Just like our staple marquee events, we're almost done those. But I typically start planning in July for the following year. And then it takes me about 2 or 3 months to kind of land all of our resources too. And I try to get everything out in front of our technology partners as quickly and as far in advance as possible. I know, especially with our channel account managers and on the marketing side, budgets dry up quickly, and we just want to make sure that, we have everything out there for you guys. So hopefully that helps. Sorry, Katie.
It does.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of vendors can miss that mark with you guys, which is just staying engaged and making sure your reps are engaged too. Because
Yeah.
my experience working with GuidePoint in the past was you have to know exactly what you're doing with the individual regions. Like you're already planning for 2024 well in advance. I have another question for you.
Yes.
What's the worst thing you've ever seen? Don't tell what vendor.
The worst thing I've ever seen. You know what? I get this question a lot. It was, but I would say it's consecutive, right? Like the consecutive worst things I've ever seen. I think I spoke about this last year at the conference, but I think it's when people tend to act like they're going to bring in our account executives to a deal and they kind of use them and then they try to take the deal direct. And let me tell you, 9 times out of 10, it is not good. It's not good for us. It's not good.
10 out of 10. It never works out that way.
Exactly. So that consecutively has always kind of been a bad behavior that we're constantly trying to battle. And it trickles down to everybody. It trickles down to our engineering team, our marketing team. I mean, once you hear about a particular vendor kind of going off the rails that way and cutting people out, the whole company knows. I mean, it is not, it's not good. So anybody on the technology partner side, just please keep aware, always keep in the loop your GuidePoint rep, or any type of VAR rep for that instance. So, but that's kind of the most consecutive bad behavior that we see.
That is, to me, a little crazy. As someone who just recently worked at a channel's first company, it was like, hey, if we're going to work in the channel, we're not going direct anymore on anything that involves a channel. Like that, it doesn't make sense to me.
It happens more than you think.
Yeah. And as the year goes on and people again are trying to meet that number and meet that quota, they get a little bit crazier and you got to reel it in sometimes. But our VRM team's great. I mean, all those guys they deal with it all day long and they've really just kind of helped the company, I think, keep the technology partners on the right path. So we're seeing it consecutively, but it has kind of dwindled down over the years as we've grown our partnership with our technology partners. So it's a good thing.
That's amazing. That's great. Brandon had a question. He had his hand up. Brandon.
I do still have a question. Hi, Amanda. I'm Brandon. I'm the VP of Marketing at a seed stage company, and I'm curious to hear from you. How early is it, or how early is too early to engage a partner such as GuidePoint? And what are the threshold points that you consider the minimum for which to actually be engaged with a potential new vendor?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So we actually have a new and emerging vendor program at GuidePoint, which is, I don't want to say it's like a secret sauce, but I like to say that it's definitely something that we pride ourselves on. And we don't really advertise it too much. Mm-hmm. But we're always willing to, open the conversation with a vendor. Justin Iwanizin is the director of our new and emerging vendor program, and he does such a great job at that. And he will help any vendor that reaches out to them as far as meeting thresholds and guidelines and what they can do. Mm-hmm. But I can put his information in the chat, and you can reach out to him if you'd like, if you have
That'd
questions
be lovely.
about
Thank
it.
You.
Yeah, of course.
Very cool. Because that's a lot of the conversation that we have, or that a lot of our members have, because a lot of, security is a fast moving, constantly changing market. So there's always new companies being born into the space. And it's like, okay, everyone says that the channel is the best way to go to market. It's better together. But then at what point are we ready to be better together?
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's hard too to gauge that on the VAR side, because it's not like we have a dedicated kind of channel, program. It's kind of everybody works together. That's at least on the VAR side, at least for GuidePoint. So marketing and VRM have such a strong communication channel together. And we like to think of ourselves as kind of bridging that gap with our technology partners. So, and hopefully everybody feels that. But our doors are always open, especially to newer vendors. And of course, if anybody has any questions, we never really try to shy anybody away.
Amanda, why did you go into the channel? Why did you get into this side?
Why didn't I?
No, why did you?
Oh,
no, because you're there.
You're
there. You're like, yeah.
You know what's so funny? So, I will not name this this company, but I had previously worked for a company. It was a smaller VAR, and it was outside the Philadelphia area, and they had gotten acquired by another VAR. And I kind of really I had a mentor at that particular company, and we really just kind of connected, and they kind of opened the doors for me and showed me a lot of what you can do. So it was a lot of growing, and it was a lot of learning, but I just fell in love with it. I think, like how we all do, it's the most frustrating job, but it's the most rewarding job. I don't know if anybody follows Marketing Millennials on LinkedIn, but some of their content is so relatable. Like when salespeople go and post, a marketing graphic, and you're like, that's completely wrong. That's from last year. Don't use that. But I think it's stuff like that. Like you get frustrated with all of this tiny stuff, but then you kind of see the big wins, and especially on the sales side. And you just feel like, especially when I came over to GuidePoint as a VAR, you feel like marketing and sales are definitely on the same page. You don't ever feel like they're conflicting. And I felt like in other roles and other industries that I had, it always felt like marketing and sales might be conflicting a little bit. But with the technology industry and the cybersecurity industry, specifically, never felt that way. It always felt like everybody was kind of working together. So that's my little story, I guess, on it.
That's so true. I hope for everyone.
Yes, yeah,
Some
exactly.
of us still have a little like sales marketing,
and that's
head
trust
buttery.
me. Yeah, if my sales guys were on right now, they'd be like, really?
Amanda, I have a follow-up question to the one I asked earlier. If and when we do make contact with Justin, what would you recommend as pieces of information that we should have ready and available so that we can have a productive conversation with him?
Yeah, I think I think you should first start out the conversation, how you heard of GuidePoint, what interests you about working with us. That always kind of draws a bigger conversation, because then they'll pull kind of some more people in from our side to help you with any type of questions you may have about the partnership. And then also, if you have any, of course, they'll listen to opportunities, right? Everybody will listen to opportunities. If you have opportunities that you're thinking that maybe GuidePoint would be a good fit for, or that you would need assistance with, that's always a good way to kind of start off the conversation, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. What else, folks? We have Amanda, the very best top 1 VAR marketer in the universe. I hear giggles.
I love how the title just keeps getting better. I love that.
Empress of partners. What other questions do you have, folks? Go ahead.
Regarding sales and marketing alignment, it's a good question, especially with channel. Same as Brandon, we're really just getting started. How do you suggest we split the responsibilities between marketing and, I heard you say vendors need to be super proactive with you guys, right? So how can marketing do that, and also onboard the sales to make sure they make the best use of their time to also keep the relationship going with the channel partner?
Oh, okay. That's tough. So I think personally with cybersecurity, I think, and this kind of goes across the board. I don't know if this necessarily answers any of your questions that you asked, so I apologize in advance. But I think that it's such a fast growing paced industry that we're all in, and everybody's moving a million miles per minute. I would say that at least delegating responsibilities, that was part of your question, right? Okay. I think delegating responsibilities, it all has to come with communication. So I have, daily, if not daily check-ins with a lot of our departments that are on the Mid-Atlantic team, if not scheduled monthly check-ins. So, we're constantly in communication, Slack, email, texting. I think yesterday I tracked down one of our sales directors through Slack, email, text, and he just wouldn't answer me because he was at a lunch with a customer, but I didn't know that. And so I'm just constantly, I say bothering, but just constantly checking in with them and making sure that, all areas of communication are covered. I think communication is key with anything you're doing, especially delegating responsibilities. Some of the stuff that we found helpful on our side with delegating responsibilities between the marketing team and our sales team is we use like plugin extensions sometimes, like monday.com. I don't know if anybody uses that, but I love that platform so much. It even pushes notifications to you to tell you like, hey, you're behind on this. And we're always behind, but it's great. Asana is great too. I saw Gianna, you said that, but yeah, it's those are great platforms to use. I think that keep everybody kind of organized and on task. So, I mean, delegating responsibilities gets a little bit mucky sometimes, I think, between marketing and channel, because I think we all kind of work together in this aspect. And sometimes it gets a little bit hard to see the division, the line. Really, communication's key. That's all I can kind of say behind that. What was the other part of your question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. Yeah, thanks. That was a big part of it, getting our AEs to use Asana to correctly follow up on those tasks. It's always a daunting challenge for us.
Yeah, I mean, even if the AEs, because like the AEs, I mean, I think we all kind of run into this, but AEs don't want to do any tactical work. That's their that's their thing. They want to close the deals and keep the lights on, and that's great. That's what we want. But I typically will include their bosses on monday.com or Asana to show them like, hey, listen, this is what we have going on. This is what I need from your team. And so it's just constant communication and making sure that we're all updated. And then we do, department head calls all the time and just making sure everybody's team is aware. So communication is the best thing. I wish I had a secret for AEs answering my emails, but I don't.
Nobody does.
All right, that was what I was hoping for, but your answer is the next best thing. Thank you.
Okay, good, great.
Katie, I saw you came on video. Do you have any advice too?
I do. And I have a plug, right? So one of the things I'm going to be talking about at the Cyber Marketing Con is sales and marketing alignment when you're working with partners from day one. So if you're a net new partner, what that alignment needs to look like from both sales and marketing swim lanes. So the engagement looks different coming in. I think there were a couple, I'm going to merge both of like Brandon's question and I think it was Orion's question together. The engagement looks different when you go into day one with a solution provider. So one of them was, what do you do when you first talk to them? Yeah, they want to know your technical details, but really what they need to know is what's in it for them. How easy are you going to make it for them to work with you? What is your channel model today? And how easy is your product to sell? That's how you should lead the conversation when you're working with day one, trying to penetrate a larger VAR like GuidePoint. Because they have the technical expertise to do a deeper dive with a technical person, but chances are your first contact is going to be a business development person who really just wants to know what's in it for them. And then the kind of like working through what the KPIs are with marketing and sales, it just depends on where you are in the partnership. There is a certain part of a maturity, a partner maturity with a vendor where you're going to require sales to be proactive because they're the ones that are building the relationship, which makes marketing reactive with the types of activities that you get. So I'm going to talk a lot about that, but just from my perspective, you need to have your house in order before you can go to a large partner like GuidePoint and immediately think that you'll go to market. Otherwise, you may be on a sinking ship because you feel like you're not getting any mind share.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good point, Katie. Especially when you brought up, your channel program. So I know so the way that GuidePoint is ran, for anybody who's not, 100% aware, but we're ran as a regionally siloed company. Which makes it a little bit difficult for people to work with us because there's so many contacts across the board. But so far it's worked great. And I know for a fact that some regions, if you are not channel friendly or if you do not have a channel program, they won't even look at you. Mid-Atlantic, I like to say that we're amazing and we work with everybody, but I do know that there is some partners that their channel program doesn't meet a lot of our requirements, which, is pretty much the only requirement is just don't take it direct. But if there's even a chance of that, even a 1% chance, the reps will shy away from you and therefore VRM will back off. It's kind of it's a trickle down effect, like to what Katie was saying, everybody will retreat. So, but that was really good point.
Amanda, are you seeing a trend in even earlier stage companies where they are focusing more on the channel as a route to market versus trying to develop an in-house sales team first and then move on to a partner, partner relationships later?
Yeah. I think it's a mix right now. We are definitely, this is the highest we've ever seen our emerging vendor program, which is great because it means that people are kind of learning about the channel a little bit more and they're investing more into the channel instead of their sales teams first. So I will say statistically this year, I think that it's proven that the channel is definitely working for sure.
Thanks.
Can I ask a dumb question that makes me sound a little bit like a ding dong? Amanda, like maybe I bet people on this call are just rolling their eyes, but like I would assume that channel, even though you're doing channel first, you also have to have a direct sales team because it's a give and take with a partner, right? Wouldn't you also want to bring opportunities to your partner, not just work with your partner on their opportunities? And I could be completely wrong. I don't know.
It goes both ways. It goes both ways. And that's what makes it a partnership. It's true. There's channel managers out there that they're given their own plan and their own growth plan for owning a national partner like GuidePoint. So I think a lot of times they'll come to us and they'll be like, look, this is my plan for the year. This is what I need from you guys. And then we go to them. This is our plan for the year. This is what we need from you guys. And then we meet in the middle. And a lot of that is our VRM team talking to them and making sure that at the national level, that everything is respected, but even that it trickles down to the regional level as well. But it's 100% a partnership. We don't always want to bring the opportunities and they don't always want to feel like they are just giving and that we're just taking. So it's definitely a growing give and take relationship for sure. It has to be 50-50 or it doesn't work. But no, that was a good question.
I'm like not as experienced as others on this call. And I'm like,
so Gianna, another way that I've seen it work is with inside sales reps. So inside sales reps would be required to pass it along to a partner as well, eventually too. Some of my clients, that's how I advise them to start when they're building a channel first model. So that way they can warm up the opportunity and then pass the lead. But that's why the sales team at some form or fashion exists inside. Plus somebody has to answer our phones, right?
Does someone have to answer? True. Depends on how your phone's set up, right? You could just do like one of those phone trees that loops forever. No, I'm just kidding. That's a terrible idea. Teague has her hand up. Hi, Teague.
Hi. So my question is,
Teague, sorry, say who you are and where you work. Also.
I apologize. So Teague Dufresne, Director of Channels and Alliances at Datadome. So we do bot mitigation and online fraud. I've worked with GuidePoint in previous companies, but we don't currently work with GuidePoint. But when I've worked with you in the past, or pretty much any kind of new relationship from a partnership perspective, typically like part of that is that business plan, right? As we create these like marketing events, or we'll, go ahead and sponsor just to get some sales activity and flow going. I guess what's the best way that you recommend to vendors, like kind of how to promote that internally, like what the ROI would be for working with a partner and investing just really early on before maybe even have any opportunities?
So, I mean, the best way that and our sales directors will say this too. I think you hit the nail on the head there, even in your own question, was just events. Event investment is always great. It gets you in front of the account executives within the region. It also gets you in front of our executive team. A lot of our executive team will come out to our events, and we feel spoiled in the Mid-A because we have so many high resources from GuidePoint that sit in our region that will travel to our events. So we take it as we're the spoiled children, but, and our executive team, I mean, like our IA team, our information assurance team, our own in-house services team, a lot of our practice leaders, a lot of these really deep dive technical folks that are hard to get in front of. And if they meet a vendor that they like, they will go to bat for them. So I always tell vendors, especially on the new and emerging side, or you may not have a ton going on with GuidePoint, events is always a good place to start, not only just to meet customers and, to get a leads list, but to really kind of build those relationships with the GuidePoint folks. It's huge. If the executive team likes you and if the IA team, believes in your tech, they're going to go to bat for you, but they have to meet you. And, in that turn, and that's why we always tell our vendors, make sure you send the right people that can talk to them, because otherwise it's a lost ROI for both of us. And we don't want that. So.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
What else, folks? What else? Anessa, do you have a question? Calling on people.
I don't. I just really joined to support. We work with GuidePoint a lot in all regions. So I was just calling to join the conversation, but I don't really have a question right now.
Hopefully it's a
Awesome.
good experience. Is it a good experience?
Yeah, no, great experience.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And if anybody has, and this might be opening up a can of worms, but if anybody has any complaints against GuidePoint too, I'm here. Like,
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
you need.
Who wants to yell at Amanda?
It's fine. I can do it. It's
You,
okay.
you don't currently sell our product, Amanda. That's the only gripe I have.
Oh,
Oh.
I wish I had any type of say in that, but
Well, we haven't made any attempts to reach out to GuidePoint, so
There you
that will
go.
change, hopefully.
that's perfect. There we go then.
So actually, I have one. Amanda, so you were talking a little bit, okay, top of mind, which is like constant emails, right? Not every day. Don't call you every day. Don't call
Yeah.
the sales folks every day. The vendor manager every day. That's scary. But what other things besides like email updates can be done, or like what sort of information can a partner provide to you that makes you think, you know what? They sound like they would be, that together we would create good ROI that's beyond just like, we have opportunities, right? Is there
Yeah.
anything else that like draws you to a partner?
I think, you know what, we don't do them often, but when partners invite us to events and they don't expect anything from us, and they're like, hey, listen, we're hosting an event. A partner actually just recently did this, reached out, and they were like, we're hosting an event in Eastern Pennsylvania. We would love to have your team come out from, that area, and we'd love to just spend the day with them. We've already, kind of filled the event. We have some spaces available. If they want to invite anybody, great. If not, totally fine. But we would love to just have that connection, build those relationships. That's what kind of gets me. I'm like, oh, okay. They want to invest in the partnership. They're saying all the right things, So I think when you go out of your way and you show interest in building relationships with our team, that's when I'm going to give you kind of more at bats, because it means that you have the better interest at heart for our team. And that's really hard to come by. So I think a lot of people get lost in that too. Again, they want to meet that quota, they want to meet that number. But a lot of people, I think, get lost with the fact that, hey, all it takes is just reach out, just say hi. And hey, I'm going to be in the area. You want to grab coffee, or just something that kind of extends that olive branch, because I think a lot of people will look at a VAR side and they expect you to bring the deals. They want you to bring the leads. We're investing in you for a reason, type of thing. And it's like, it does go both ways. So that's the number one thing I think that will grab my attention. And then of course, once I get them on a call and kind of walk through all the logistics and, statistics of doing events with us, or doing, any type of marketing efforts with us, campaigns, just knowing that they 100% support it too, I think is always it's a green light for me. I'm like, okay, I feel good about this. And, my job too, in all of this, is to really make sure that the salespeople are getting everything that they need from the technology partners. We work really closely again with the VRM team. So it's kind of to vet out those bad guys and make sure that we're shielding them from the salespeople, and that they can focus on the people that are going to be, in return, giving them opportunities and building that relationship. And these are people they can call on, 20 years down the road, but still be in the same industry. So I think that kind of keeps it top of mind for me, is just making an effort.
It sounds like it's a mix of like making an effort, being sincere, and like long-term view as opposed to
Yes.
short-term view.
We're all about long-term. We don't do any type of like turn and burn'ems. That's not us. So we're all about long-term.
Alex has a comment. Be easy to do business with. Channel one-on-one. Show up.
Oh, Alex Iverson's on here. She better take herself off mute.
Alex, you got called on.
I'm here for moral support of Amanda, but I mean, Channel 101, be easy to do business and show up. Like you cannot underestimate the value of building relationships and showing up.
Yes.
Like, that is partnership 101.
Yep. And Alex is, for everybody who doesn't know, Alex is on the GuidePoint side, GuidePoint Security. She is on the corporate marketing team, but she's really VRM. So I forgot to name you, Alex, in our amazing VRM team. But Alex is amazing. She's great. I hate to put that out there. I already put Justin's email in the chat, Alex.
I'm happy to help where I can. I lead vendor marketing on the corporate side for GuidePoint. So here to support Amanda. her counterpart. Everything you all have said, she is the GOAT of regional marketing. Amanda's amazing. And I came from the vendor side, so I have worked with Amanda for way too many years than I think either of us would like to admit, as a vendor and now as a counterpart. So everything she has to say is absolute gold. Love it.
There's no jerks at GuidePoint. I told you guys.
This is amazing. I love that you had like a secret like fan.
I know.
Thank you, Alex.
Alex Iverson just sneaking up there. Jeez. Alex, Alex is amazing. If anybody gets a chance to work with her, she's incredible.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Amazing. What a great call. All right, guys, we are at the 50-minute mark. I feel like unless there's any other questions, we can close out this call. Any last questions for Amanda or now Alex, who has self-identified as GuidePoint? All right. It sounds like we are done. Thank you so much. Or Katie, did you have one last question?
No, this is the best multitasking I've done like all month. So I'm not gonna wave bye. That's it.
Okay. You're coming on to say bye. All right, well, thank you so much, Amanda, for joining. Thank you so much. I feel like we need to release your session from the conference last year to the community here, because you also spoke at Cyber Marketing Con last year, and you had an amazing session with our friend David, who was at ZeroFox and is now at Reversing Labs too. So thank you again for being willing to come on and talk to us. And thank you, Alex, too, for joining in the wings. And thank you, everybody, for joining this Partner Marketing Monthly. I think next month we have Charles to, oh, geez. He was living on this call. And next month, we're going to have another partner marketer joining the call to discuss various things. Also, next week, we will have Anna Sarnak, who is VP of Alliances and Partnerships at Valence Security, talking. So I hope, so feel free to join if you would like, everybody. And thank you so much for being a part of our community. Hope to see you in Texas in December, and I'll see you guys on the Slack.